Let's be totally honest. Even the best of us face the fear of rejection before we get on a sales call. But what's the deal with that, my friend? You think, I've been doing this for a long time, so why do I feel nerves and maybe a smidge of anxiety feeling that my client might reject my offer at the end of the sales call? In this video, I am going to break down this crazy phenomenon and share 3. Yes, we don't need to overcomplicate it. You just need 3 simple steps to help you face that fear of rejection and banish it for good. I'm Jessie, and I help small business owners increase their sales confidence and their conversion rates without feeling yucky or being pushy. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and the bell so that you're notified each time I upload new tips on how to increase your sales confidence with authenticity and ease. Listen, the fear of rejection in sales is an oldie but goodie, one that the pros don't like to talk about or admit to. But it gets to all of us, and it can derail us from having a productive and fulfilling sales conversation. So I'm excited to share these 3 simple steps with you today. Stick with me to the very end so that you can understand how these 3 basic tips will take you from anxiety to understanding. That last step is really the most important, so be sure to stick around to hear it. First, we're going to visit why this fear of rejection happens, and then we're going to get into what you can do today to stop it in its tracks. Now, the fear of rejection is deeply rooted in all of us, going back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Now, hang tight. I am not going to go down a deep psychological hole for long, but it is really important to understand why this pops up so quickly in us, particularly on a sales call. So Maslow's hierarchy of needs is the theory that our behaviors and motivations are driven by 5 levels of needs in life. The first level is very basic needs like air, water, food, shelter, the need to reproduce, things that we need as human beings just for basic survival. The second level of needs is safety related, things like employment so that we can provide for ourselves, our health so that we survive longer, and our housing so that we have a safe place to live. Ding, 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 I think we have a match. There are certainly other higher level needs on Maslow's scale, but these first 2 levels, both basic needs for food, water, providing for ourselves, safety, these all have to do and are related to our fear of rejection on a sales call. These first 2 levels of basic needs and safety are extremely hardwired into us. And when we get on a sales call, our nerves start to jangle. Why? Because we feel unsafe. Getting on a sales call feels like we're getting into treacherous territory. That's because the results of a sales call could jeopardize our ability to feed our family, to pay for our housing, might negatively affect our employment or our business. All worst case scenarios for sure, but with the protective nature of our brain, it's no wonder that we feel anxious and fearful when we enter sales call territory. So now you know why those nerves pop up on a sales call. Let's break this down just a bit further. You might want to grab a piece of paper or pen to take some notes or rewind to make sure you catch all these thoughts. Okay, easy question. So what's the end result of a sales call? Ultimately, it's either the client saying yes or it's the client saying no. And it's the no that we're scared of hearing, right? It's the no's that trigger the nerves. So why is that? Reason number 1 we don't like to hear no is we want the sale. For all the reasons above, we want the sale. We want to be able to go home to our partners, and because of these most basic needs, we want to be able to say, yes, we can continue to pay the bills and we can buy the groceries. And when we get enough sales, we can maybe buy that nicer house and maybe get a nicer car. And we can take our partner and our children on really nice vacations. And maybe we can get that really nice piece of jewelry we've had our eye on for a while. Or whatever those dream goals you have, those become possibilities. It also means for those of us who are heart-centered and really caring about the clients that we talk to, that we can help one more person along that path that leads them to their ideal outcomes faster. We know we will serve them well and that they will flourish, and that is a big win as well. Reason number 2 we don't like to hear no is that the no feels like a personal rejection of our offer. And as an entrepreneur, that rejection can feel pretty personal because our offer is our creation. And because we created that offer, it feels very much like we are one and the same. It's like our baby. And when someone says no, we feel like they don't like what we created. It stings if we let it. I've talked to so many entrepreneurs who said this is what hurts the most and what stresses them most about getting on a sales call. No one likes personal rejection, and when taken personally, it makes getting on that next sales call even harder. Reason number 3 we don't like to hear no is that we don't know what steps to take next when someone tells us no. Think about it. When someone tells you no, what typically happens to the conversation? It just kind of fizzles out. It stops. No one knows what to say. Your client feels bad that they've said no. You feel bad that they've told you no. So there you both are, just letting the conversation end awkwardly. It is simply not ideal. Is this feeling familiar at all? Have you ever felt any of these fears or frustrations? If so, hit that like button. And I'm curious, what's a fun goal, either personal or professional, that you'd like to attain when you turn all those no's into yeses? I'm going to drop one of my personal goals into the comments below, but I'd love to see your goals there as well. Right, so now you know exactly why you don't like hearing those no's and why that fear of rejection can pop up so quickly. Got that pen and paper ready? Because now we are going to talk about the 3 things you can very easily implement to banish that fear for good. Step 1, don't take it personally. Now I know that sounds simple, but it really is, and here is the secret. What you need to do is step out of your shoes and step firmly into the shoes of your potential client. Why would they say no? Is it because they don't like you? Most likely not. Is it because they don't like your offer? Again, most likely not. So standing in the shoes of your potential client, why would they say no? The first thing to internalize is that most people look at the world and what they're dealing with solely from their perspective. So your potential client is looking at your offer from their perspective in that moment. What do they need to do to acquire your offer? Can they afford your offer? Will your offer help them? How will your offer impact their daily life? What will the important people in their life think about your offer? There are so many questions running through their head at this time. So a no from your potential client really means that something on that list of questions is a no. Does that make sense? It's generally something that's going on in your potential client's life at that moment that creates the no. So you cannot take it personally. Step number 2 is you cannot make assumptions. This stems back to what we just talked about, but it's really important, so needs to be addressed as a separate step. Assumptions are easy to fall back on when we hear a no. That's why it's so easy to take it personally. But it's important that we don't assume why the client has said no. Why? Because it means the difference between whether we can continue the conversation with this client or not. When we make assumptions about why the client has said no, we shut the conversation down without having a deeper understanding of what's going on. And if we do that, we may shut down nurturing them into a future potential client down the road. So it is really important not to make assumptions at all on why the client has said no and seek a deeper understanding. And that leads us to step number 3. You need to have a plan for what to say when you hear that no. When you're armed with the right strategy or plan, then all obstacles are surmountable. You now know that you cannot take no personally, and you cannot make any assumptions about it either. No, it doesn't feel good in the moment, but you must have a plan that you can pull out of your pocket to keep the conversation going at this point. Say, well, of course, I'm really disappointed to hear that, but can you tell me what's on your mind that this won't work for you? Please know you won't hurt my feelings with your feedback, but rather the feedback can really help me understand what's going on and how I might make my offer even better. People often feel bad telling you no and will get around saying it many different ways. Generally, we're pretty nice to each other and we don't want to let someone down by saying no. But this is a moment where you can learn, and this will take them off guard. That you sincerely want their feedback will be a surprise to them. This is something that builds so much trust and continues to build that relationship with the client that they may be able to be nurtured into a future client down the road, and they certainly may send referrals to you as well. And honestly, sometimes we are so close to our own offer that we don't see the nuances that our clients may see that could make our offer even better. This is an opportunity that we would miss altogether if we don't stop and ask for their feedback. So these 3 simple steps can really transform your mind and your actions in such a way that you don't ever really have to fear a no from your potential clients ever again. If you choose to, you can see the no as a beautiful opportunity to learn something new and possibly even make your offer even better. It's really all in how you see it and the perspective you choose to use. Now, if you're wondering what it would look like to work with me and increase your sales confidence and your sales conversions in a heartfelt way, I'd love to talk to you. Reach out to me in the link that's in the video description below, and we can chat about how I can make sales easier in a very authentic way that will take your business to a whole new level of success. And if you like this video and you feel like it will shift your mindset to make fear of rejection a thing of the past, click that subscribe button and the bell. And friends, I look forward to seeing you next week with more tips on how to keep you out of the pushy and pressure-filled sales zone. I will see you then.